Hello.
And we're on, brother.
Yeah, hello, and welcome to another edition of Out the Box. Okay, and today's a special edition because we're going to be interviewing the legendary Jim Andre. Okay, and we have a special guest, Jim Mcfarlin. Thank you for joining us, Jim.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna spend a few minutes introducing Jim Andre to you, and then we'll go over to Jim Andre, and he'll be sharing his life and what happened to him, what phenomenal experiences that he actually shared. Okay, Jim Andre is in fact an alien contactee. He's also an alien abductee and a healer. He connects with spirits using dream state. He astral projects. He's astral projected 3 times. He gets downloads from the short greys, and they're like clones and robots. They're from the Cetus Reticuli constellation, and they've outlived their creator by millennia. Okay, Jim Andre was at the computer, and he lost 6 hours in the year 2013 between 9:15 p.m. and 2:57 a.m. Jim cannot recall anything that happened. When he awoken, he recognised that he lost 6 hours at the computer between 9:15 and 2:57 a.m. And when he awoke, he had a tattoo on his arm, which changes subtly. It morphs. It changes subtly, and he didn't know. He cannot explain how he got this tattoo. And also, he has a message warning other species: Archons are manipulating us. The Galactic Federation have rules we should abide by. We are a free society. And also, when I say Jim Andre recognised he was a quantum healer in 2014, and he has healed people with colon rectum cancer, tumours on their left lung, his closed sores, and he's helped to heal autism. He can do the most amazing of things. I'd like to hand the table over, the hot seat over to Jim Andre is in the house.
How are you doing, everyone? I'm not a host this evening. I'm a guest, so I got to follow the hostess cues here. I got my friend Jim Mcfarlin here. Him and I met on Facebook by chance. And when he first met me, he can give you the story of what he first thought of me when he first started talking to me on Messenger for the very first time. But anyway, my experience was since about 8 years old, I've had this it's hard to explain, this feeling, this notion, this it's like when you have something on the tip of your tongue, you just can't grasp what you want to say. Somehow, I feel I was tied in with the Bonnie and Betty Hill abduction when I was 8 years old. They were coincidentally abducted on September 19th, 1961, on my 8th birthday. So I kind of like had flashes of that throughout the years, then moved forward to the fall of 2012, late fall of 2012. I was a Massachusetts constable and a motor coach bus driver. I did a commuter run between New Bedford and Boston, Massachusetts with a motor coach. And I used to have to get up early in the morning to go to work. I distinctly remember it was a Wednesday night. And I was about to sit in front of the computer like I normally do. And I made a mental note of what time it was, thinking that I had to get up early in the morning for work. So I took a look at the time at the lower right-hand corner of the computer monitor, and it said 9:15 p.m. That's the last thing I remember. It's like I just went out like a light. Then all of a sudden I came to, and I'm wondering where I'm at. I'm looking around. I glance over at the alarm clock, and it said 2:57 a.m. So as I'm trying to gather my thoughts, all of a sudden I felt an intense burning sensation on my right forearm. And I looked down, and there's a tattoo that depicts an alien gray. And I mean, I was beside myself when I seen that. And this is the tattoo here.
And if you look carefully at the tattoo, you can see that that's a short grey, which actually is being visualized to you.
And as Bradley mentioned, it does slightly change. It morphs during time. And since the abduction, I've had contact with the Zeta Reticuli, the short grays. I get telepathic downloads from them. I can't do it on demand. I can't initiate it, but they come to me out of the blue. And since my abduction, post-abduction, I've been able to heal others, energetically heal others. I've done many sessions online, help people out. It does work. I can have that validated. Individuals who have experienced that with me. Jim Mcfarlin happens to be one of them individuals. And since my abduction, I've got a totally different outlook, perspective when it comes to life, existence, and the whole big picture, if you will. Now, as far as Jim Mcfarlin is concerned, since he's met me on Facebook, we've known each other about, 6, 7 years, Jim?
Yeah, something like that.
And he's had many experiences with me. I've done healing sessions for him, his wife. He can explain all that to you. And so I'll let Jim explain what he first thought of me when he first met me on Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, first time I met him, I seen him on another show, and I thought, this guy's pretty interesting. I was listening to his story, so I sent him a friend's request. One evening, I asked him to go on the video chat. Well, he comes on video chat with me, and he's sitting in his bedroom. He moves the camera, and I see hundreds of crucifixes, crosses hanging from his ceiling all over the walls. And I thought, what kind of crackpot is this guy? I was about ready to hang up, and I asked him, I said, what's the deal with all the damn crosses? He said, I just collect them. And yeah, we've been friends quite a while. But yeah, he's helped me many times doing sessions for me when I had different things going on, and it always works. I know he did a couple sessions for me. I was coughing up blood out of my lungs. I've had cancer twice, and I was coughing blood up out of my lungs, and he did a couple sessions. Well, after that second session, I went to bed that night. 3 o'clock in the morning, I wake up, and I'm paralyzed. I'm laying in the bed. I can't move. I can't speak. All I can do is look around and see. And when I open my eyes, to my amazement, there's three alien grays standing at the foot of my bed, and I freak out. I mean, my heart started pounding. I was fighting, trying to break loose from whatever was going on. I couldn't move. I was trying to break loose because if I'd have got loose, the fight would have been on. Well, anyway, the one stepped out. The one of them stepped forward, started around the side of the bed at me with his hand out, and the closer he got, the faster my heart was beating, and all I could think was, oh my God, what's going to happen now? Well, he got up close to me. I closed my eyes. He put his hand on my he laid his hand on my chest, and I instantly, my heart slowed down. It was just like only way I can explain it, it'd be like God laid his hand on you. It was so peaceful and loving feeling, and I lay there with my eyes closed, and then I felt him take his hand off. Well, I waited a little bit, and I opened my eyes, and they was gone. Now, the next morning I get up, I tell my wife about it. I said, boy, I had a crazy dream last night. Well, I thought, well, I'm going to call Jim and tell him about that. He'll get a kick out of that. So I called him up and I said, hey, I'm going to tell you something that happened to me last night. He said, no, let me tell you what happened. I said, okay, what's that, since you know it all? And he says, my 3 little friends come and paid you a visit in the middle of the night. Am I correct? I about passed out when he told me that. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all hard to believe too, but it is what it is.
Well,
now how about that other incident there where you and I were talking like we are now? We were on Messenger.
Oh yeah.
When we were driving truck.
Yeah. Yeah. One night I was on the phone with Jim and another guy named Larry. I was on video chat with him. I was driving a truck, and I'm up in the hell's the name of that town? I can't remember the name of the town, but it's up on the Wisconsin, Illinois line, just north of Rockford, Illinois. I was coming out of Rockford, Illinois, going south. And I told Jim and the other guys, well, I'm going to get off here. I'm going to call my wife before she goes to bed. So I get off the phone with them, and I call her up, talk to her a few minutes, and I told her, well, I'm going to let you go so you can go to bed. So I let her go. I don't know, it's probably 11 o'clock at night. And I let her go, got off the phone with her. I didn't drive 2 miles. All of a sudden, this bright flash of light out of nowhere. It was only way I can explain it is like a damn flashy thing on the Men in Black when they erase people's memory. It was that kind of flash. It blinded me. Well, I started hitting the brakes on this tractor trailer because I'm driving a tractor trailer. And I go hitting the brakes because I didn't want to hit nobody or run off the road. I go to hitting the brakes. Well, then the light started going away. My vision came back. Well, I'm no longer on the interstate. I'm on a 2-lane road. And I was about to run through a red light. There's a red light there. So I slam on the brakes and I look off to my left. There's a little gas station out in the middle of nowhere. There wasn't a town nowhere around. A little gas station on the corner there at that intersection. Well, I went through the intersection and pulled over. I walk over to the gas station and there was a Cisco food truck there. One of the small semi trucks. Anyway, I guess he was getting fuel or whatever. I walked over to that guy, he's a black guy, and I looked at him and I said, how did I get back to the interstate? And he looks around at me and he said, are you driving that truck over there? And I said, yeah. He said, how in the hell did you get over here? He said, that road is not meant for big trucks. He said, it's got signs all over it. I said, I don't know. Well, he looked at me like I'm crazy. Well, he tells me how to go to get back to the interstate. Well, I take off that way. I'm 48 miles from the damn interstate. I went through a town that had a big courthouse square. You had to go around the square. And I thought, I know damn well I didn't come through here. But I had to go through there to go back to the interstate. Well, I get home. Well, before I get home, I call my wife back. After it happened, I called my wife back. woke her up, and I said, remember a while ago when I got off the phone with you? She said, what the hell are you talking about? She said, it's 3:30 in the morning. She said, I've been asleep for 3 or 4 hours. And I said, bullshit. I said, I just got off the phone with you a while ago. And she said, no. She said, what's wrong with you? And I said, there ain't nothing wrong with me. Well, I told her what happened. Well, next morning I get home and I get to looking on the internet. Well, about 10 miles up the road from where this happened to me, there was a big truck involved in a accident. He run into 2 cars and killed everybody in them cars and injured him pretty bad. Well, I was telling Jim about it. Jim said, all I can say is they kept you out of harm's way, I guess.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, as far as the healing there, explain Pepper's situation that Pepper.
Oh, yeah. My friend Pepper, she was, at that time, she was about 87 years old. When she had these big ulcers all over her legs that wouldn't heal. She got bad circulation. These ulcers wouldn't heal. She'd been going to a wound clinic for 5.5 years, and they couldn't get them wounds to heal up. Well, I told her about Jim, and I introduced her to Jim. Well, I talked her into having a session with Jim, me and Jim. Well, we did that session for her that night. It was probably 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. Did that session for her for them wounds on her legs. Very next morning, she calls me up. She says, tells me when she gets on the phone, she said, I don't know whether to praise Jim or run from him. I said, why? She said, my legs are healed. And I said, what? She said, my legs are healed. So she showed me her legs. Well, I told her, well, just hang tight. I'm going to get Jim on here. So I added Jim to the call, and she did. She took the camera and showed us them wounds on her legs, where them wounds were that you couldn't even tell where they'd been. They were completely gone. They healed up overnight.
And she had that problem for years.
Yeah. She'd been being treated for 5 years at a wound clinic, and they couldn't get them to heal up. Matter of fact, Jim, I just talked to her. Was it yesterday or the day before, Christy? Yeah, yesterday before she finally called me again. I called her. She called back, but I didn't. James had my phone, and he didn't tell me she called. Anyway, she called back. I asked her how she's doing. She said she's doing wonderful. Said she's feeling good and everything. So that's a plus because she's been sick quite a while.
Yeah, that's good. She's on in years too, right?
Yeah, she'll be 90 her birthday.
Wow.
I know she is 90 now, ain't she? Yeah, she is 90 now.
Oh, is she? Yeah. And every once in a while, since my abduction, I get like psychic phenomenon that happens with me. Tell them about the time that I was talking to you one night and your dad started coming through to me.
Well, my dad, he'd been gone since 2003, and one night me and Jim was talking, and my dad used to be pretty good rounder in his day. He did a lot of ornery, illegal shit. Well, one time he went and robbed a business, got a bunch of money out of that place, cracked the safe. Well, he starts over to Kentucky to his cousin's house. Well, he gets up in Illinois where he buries a bunch of money. He told me about burying this money in some cemetery. Well, one night me and Jim was sitting there talking, and I'd never brought none of that up to Jim. Jim said, hey, your dad's here. And I said, what? He said, your dad's here. And I said, oh, come on. Jim said, no, I'm serious. And I'm laughing at him. Jim said, your dad said, quit your goddamn laughing. And that sounded like my dad. Quit your goddamn laughing. And I thought it was funny. And he says, Jim looks at me and he says, well, your dad said to ask you, does the name Carl ring a bell? Well, Carl was his cousin, and they was buddies all their life. I mean, real close, just like brothers. And he got my attention then, and he told Jim for me to go to this cemetery, and he told Jim the name of the cemetery, told me to go there and find the largest oak tree in the cemetery, that he buried some of that money there at the foot of that tree. Well, me and Jim looked the cemetery up, and that cemetery is right there in Illinois.
Yeah, he said he said he buried the money near the biggest tree in the cemetery.
Wow, an astonishing story. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for sharing your experiences, Jim.
Yeah.
Tammy Barnum says it's kind of like deja vu. So, Tammy Barnum says sometimes when we enter, we yeah, we through timelines. Wow. Morgan Roundtree says it's freaky cool what you're sharing.
Yeah, things do happen. I mean, a lot of it sounds bizarre, but it's all real at the same time.
And when this happened to Jim, his experience, his abduction, Jim, what was your occupation? You had 2 occupations, wasn't it?
I did, yeah. I was a Massachusetts constable and a motor coach bus driver. And after the abduction, I held it in. I didn't really tell anybody except a few close family members and friends, but they thought I was nuts. But anyway, I held it in for over a year, just over a year before going public with it. And the very first time that I went public was on a cable TV news channel in the local area where I lived up there in Massachusetts. And coincidentally, the host of the studio host was an attorney for a law firm that I actually did hundreds of serves for while being a constable. So technically, when I came out with that, with my experience, I was putting my reputation on the line, obviously. And I even told him during the interview, his name is Paul Santos, the host. I told him, I said, now that I'm coming out with my experience, you guys probably won't want me to do any more service for you. He started laughing.
Yeah.
Well, just like you talk about some of your family and people think you're crazy, hell, some of your family still thinks you're nuts.
Yeah, I know.
Sarah Williams says, I want to hire you for healing sessions. How do these sessions work, Jim?
Well, I do it over the internet. There was one good friend of mine, John Casey. He recently passed, rest his soul. Jim knows him. He's met him. He had, this was going back maybe 8 years. So like 2016 or maybe 9 years, 2015. He developed rectal cancer. And he did a couple of radiation treatments, but he couldn't continue with them because when he went to go to the bathroom, he was in so much pain that it was unbearable. So they stopped the treatment and they scheduled a surgery for like 2.5 months down the road. And during them 2.5 months, I did healing sessions with him online. I was in Massachusetts. He was in Indiana. And we did them sessions for about 8 weeks, about 3 times a week for 8 weeks. And when he went in for surgery, he had the surgery done. And the doctor told him, he said, I've been doing this for over 25 years. And I've never seen anything like it. And John says, well, what do you mean? He said, well, when I went in there, he says, I opened you up. He says, took a look at the tumor. And it was the size and the thickness of a dime. He says, by all intents and purposes, from my experiences of being a doctor, that shouldn't have shrunk any more than maybe about a half inch. And originally, his tumor was like 2.5 inches long and 2 inches wide. So anyway, by the time he went for surgery, it was this thickness and the size of a dime, and it really blew the surgeon's mind. And he was honest about it. And John told him while he was doing healing sessions, and the doctor said, well, there's probably something to it. So, and then he was cancer-free for about another 5 years, and it came back again. I did more sessions, but, he's been sick on and off, but he finally passed recently. Not long after his 60th birthday, yeah.
Wow.
But anyway, one question I get asked frequently is, well, how is that possible? I mean, I'm over there in Massachusetts, somebody's in Indiana. Distance has got nothing to do with it, see? It's all about energy, see? So the energy the energy that's around me right now is the same energy that's around anybody anywhere in the world. So what I do with these sessions is I utilize the energy, which is the same energy around me, and I utilize it where I want it to go to perform the healing process. During my sessions, I use a shungite stone, which is this here. This stone actually emits an energetic frequency of its own. It's the only stone that does that. The only place the original shungite can be found is in Russia. They got shungite like in the Midwest in the United States, but it doesn't have the element called fullerene, which activates it to be able to emit an energetic frequency. So the original has to come from Russia. And I just concentrate, use that to help utilize where I want the energy to go, and that's how I do it.
He used to talk about John a while ago. He's been on this very show telling his story, ain't he, Jim?
Yeah, he's been on before, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bradley's met him as well.
Yeah. What was, yeah. So like, it's, and your abduction is not, it's different for everybody, abductions are, but in your case, your abduction was a blessing, Jim. Do you think?
Well, I mean, it all depends on how you want to look at it, or who the individual is, how they perceive it. I was beside myself for a very long time, really not knowing what to make of it. But, then soon realizing that, it's something that I experienced and a fact that I had to accept. And I just started to rationally work with it. And this is the point I'm at now.
Because you was abducted in 2013. You didn't recognize you was a healer until 2014.
I was abducted in the late fall of 2012.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah. And you didn't recognize you was a healer until 2014. Is that right, Jim?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, not everybody's abductions are blessings, I admit that. Sarah Williams said, phenomenal what you're sharing. Thank you for sharing.
Well, the thing is how you perceive it. I mean, you can make it a positive or a negative. I guess the choice is individually your own.
Do you think you lost a lot of friends, Jim?
Did I lose a lot of friends? No, I've never really. I wouldn't say I've lost friends, but I would say they probably think different of me. Maybe like I got a couple of screws loose or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But see, that doesn't bother me because I believe what's most important is not what others think of me, but what I think of myself.
Yeah. Morgan Roundtree says, thank you so much for sharing, Jim. Tammy Barnum says, multivite is very powerful crystal. Its origins come from a meteorite.
Yeah, meteorites are good for working with energy as well.
Wow, thank you for sharing that, Tammy Barnum. Yeah.
Jim, you still got that big old giant?
Go on, Jim.
You still got that big old giant meteor you found?
Yeah, I do, yeah. I got it right here somewhere, I think. I don't know. I probably have it out in the shed. Thought I had it here.
Or maybe it's like that other shungite stone that disappeared that night you did that session for my wife. Maybe somebody absorbed it.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Your wife there, how many times I've helped her with migraines and toothaches.
Oh yeah, many a times. That one night though was funny when you did that session with her, that other shungite stone. Then you never could find the stone after that. I said, yeah, old Christy absorbed that son of a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you everyone for watching and tuning in to the show. We value your support. Yeah, this is Jim Andre revealing his experience as an alien contactee, alien abductee, and recognizing he's a quantum healer. And the quantum healers are out there. That you've got to search for them.
Yeah, and I wanna stress that it's nothing I brag about. It's nothing I keep announcing. It's nothing that I even charge for. I do that just to help people.
Sarah Williams says, we may be a little crazy, but we are not mentally ill. Have you found any correlation between your healing and other people that have been abducted?
Well, I mean, I don't know personally too many other people that have been abducted. I mean, on a level where I would get that much information to judge it anyway.
If any of you want healing, Jim is available. Like he says, he provides his services for free. You have to reach out to Jim Andre. He doesn't chase after you. If you want it, you have to make contact with Jim Andre and reach out to him. Yeah. Yeah, I've spoken to some of Jim's patients actually. They can verify that, yeah, Jim actually, they received therapy from Jim Andre and he has healed them. Yeah. I've spoken to some of his patients. Yeah. Tammy Barnum said, in your opinion, do you believe the people who are RH negative are more connected or more prone to alien abduction?
I don't believe so. I don't believe so. I believe it's all random, and I think, you know, everything within existence serves a purpose. So if they're going to do any type of experimentation, I think it just holds true for whatever's out there.
Sarah Williams says, I will reach out and share my story. It would be, and if you feel that could help. Thank you so much. Yeah, come on the show, Sarah. Everyone would love to hear your story. That's what we're here for. We give you a box to stand on, a platform where you can share your phenomenal experiences to the mainstream audience. No one will troll you.
Steve Morris is asking, why am I smoking? Well, I like smoking. I've been smoking for 54 years. I'm 70 years old. I don't drink, so you got to do something, I guess.
I'm the same. I smoke and I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke weed or anything like that. I don't take drugs. Like that. Tammy Barnum says, but there are studies, if you will, that can explain or do explain. The urge negatives is a blood type that this day they don't know where it comes from. They don't know where the RH blood comes from.
Yeah, but the point is, all blood serves the same purpose. It's all workable. It all sustains us.
Well, I'm RH negative, and I don't have any special powers or anything.
No, but you've encountered phenomena, you Jim.
Yeah. I've had many UFO experiences too, and more so since I met Andre there.
Wasn't there a time where you were younger with your brother or some friend or something?
Me and my brother, my girlfriend.
Yeah, what happened then?
Yeah.
Be what, Jim?
Yeah, what happened then? What happened then?
We was sitting in the backyard. We lived out in Arizona in the desert, sitting in the backyard one night about 9 o'clock. Never heard nothing, never seen nothing. All of a sudden, the yard lit up like daytime. We look up, and there's a disc-shaped craft, just treetop high, big son of a bitch. That thing was probably big as a football stadium, just sitting there and shining that bright beam of light out of the belly of it on top of us. Well, we got up and ran in the house. The back door, my mom and dad was sitting there, and I told my dad, I said, get up, come here and look at this. He said, what? And I said, I didn't say UFO in them days. I said flying saucer or something. he starts laughing. He said, "Oh, come on." He gets up, walks out. We walk out on the porch and look up, and it's gone, nowhere to be seen. And next morning, me and my brother both, and that girl I was dating, we all three had sunburns, looked like sunburns. Well,
That's
we
from
go to
radiation.
school. Yeah, we go to school that day, and teacher was asking me about them sunburns. I go, "It was bad." And I told her what happened. I guess my brother told his teacher what happened. Well, that evening when we come in from school, there's a government car in the driveway and a couple of suits in there with my dad. They wanted to question me and my brother over what we saw, and they kept trying to convince me it was a Goodyear blimp. I told them, "You're crazy. It wasn't no damn blimp." I said, "A damn blimp wouldn't have got gone that quick." I said, "It wasn't shaped like a blimp. It was round, circular disc shape."
Yeah.
So what were they, like the Men in Black that paid you a visit?
I guess, or Goon Squad is what's his name calls them.
Oh yeah, Dr. Stephen Greer, yeah.
Yeah, that's what he calls them, Goon Squad.
Tammy Barnum says RH negative. When it comes to donating, the only universal blood type is a negative can give to a negative and positive. Thank you for sharing that, Tammy. Steve Morris says, "I don't drink or smoke. I am an alcoholic, but I haven't drunk for 15 years. Well, I admire your spirit for not drinking for 15 years." Steve Morris is asking, "Are you Christians?"
Nope.
I'm more spiritual than I am religious.
Exactly.
I am spiritualist. I'm not religious, although I am Christian, but not religious. I believe you can follow Jesus Christ without being religious.
Exactly. I believe in Christ and I believe in God, but the Bible ain't nothing but a brainwashing tool for weak-minded idiots.
Well, the way they depict the good and loving God could be more scarier than Satan himself.
Yeah. Well, like you always said, Jim, what kind of good loving God makes a commandment thou shalt not kill and then turn around and kill millions of people in a great flood? That don't even make no sense.
Not a very good role model.
No.
And if you don't do what I say, you'll burn throughout eternal damnation, right?
Oh, yeah. Or like the passage in the Bible where he talked, I don't remember who it was, but he told somebody to kill their son. Well, I'm here to tell you, God tells me to go kill my son. I'm going to be like, well, I don't believe you're the God for me. Get the hell out of here. Leave me alone.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and hell is God's idea, not Satan's, right? So you put that all together. You put that all together. Good and loving God is scarier than Satan himself.
Yeah. Well, it's like you always said. People need to understand God and Satan's one and the same. They're the same entity.
Yeah, it's an energy source. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It makes all things possible.
Because I'll just tell you, I don't believe that bullshit about Satan and all that crap that the Bible depicts about heaven and hell, gold line streets, and how they describe hell. That's all nothing but a damn scare tactic to scare people into following that damn book and giving these churches their money every week.
Yeah, it's all about money and control.
That's it.
Look at the Vatican there, the Catholic religion. All they do is
I know.
Yeah, all they do is practice evil under the guise of good.
Yep.
Tammy Barnum says, "I believe some people are hybrids, a mix of human and galactic entities." Thank you for sharing that, Tammy.
Well, I believe we all have alien DNA in us.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. They say we have a reptilian brain as well, don't they? Some of it. Morel Bedar says, "Ty, I totally agree." Steve Morris says, you have a point now. I think it means like we're not religious, but we follow Christ and God, but we're not religious." Tammy Barnum says, "Yeah, go on, Jim."
That's like me. I believe in God, but he ain't no imaginary bearded man in the damn sky. He's an energy source.
Yeah. He's the universal consciousness.
See it. And like Morg said, Jim, we all got God in us. All of us. It's just an energy source. All that shit the Bible talks about a man in the sky and all that crap, that's a bunch of bullshit.
Tammy Barnum says heaven and hell are a man-made concept where the indoctrination of religion was made as a tool to keep humanity in line.
And just like the original Hebrew scriptures, Bradley, they never mention heaven, hell, Satan, or none of that in that book, in them scriptures. No. That shit was all added by the damn Catholic faith centuries ago to brainwash people. That's all the fuck it's about.
Yeah. Steve Morris says, I like your concept.
Yeah, thank you, Steve.
Sarah Williams says, I'm not sure if I missed or not, but when you was abducted, Jim, do you remember how you was taken? Were you taken into a craft of some type, or was it more of an ethical experience? What was that like for you? Actually, what was it like for anyone?
I was totally out of it. I have almost zero recollection. I get kind of like flashbacks of laying on a silver table or something, very cold.
Yep.
But that's all I get.
You remember the experience I told you about when I was a kid, Jim? When I woke up and I was laying on a table like you're talking about, and it was cold.
Yeah. How old were you then?
I was probably 7, 8 years old, but I remember that, but I don't remember nothing else from it.
Tammy Barnum says Christianity is a branch of the Torah produced by the Jesuits. Thank you, Tammy.
Everybody's in search of the truth. There is no one truth.
No.
The closest the truth anyone will come to during the course of a lifetime is what each individual perceives and believes as being their truth. Yeah. There are many truths.
Yeah.
Well, just like you always said, Jim, everybody got it in their head that man owns the earth. So that's bullshit. The earth owns man.
That's right. Man's got this attitude the earth belongs to him, when in reality, man belongs to the earth.
That's it.
That's the thing. See, we often debate the laws of man, the laws of God, while overlooking what I think is the most important laws of all, and that's the laws of nature itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sarah Williams says, I was around the same age as you both and remember being so cold too.
Well, the state the world is in today, man is the problem, and he never will be the solution.
Yeah. We covered the questions anyway, I believe. Tammy Barnum says, we all have the power of Christ is in us all. Religion is a man-made concept to financially benefit religious institutions by the concept of salvation through donation. Thank you for sharing that, Tammy. That's a very good point. Thank you.
Christopher Peebles says, even source follows the laws of nature as defined by soul agreements per universe. Morgan Roundtree says, I definitely see the manipulation in most religions. People are programmed to not focus on their own spirituality and connection to the source.
Yeah, that's right. Beck Birdie, thank you for joining us. Says we are the embodiment of truth.
We are all moved by the same energy.
Beck Birdie says we are God. Hi there, Tony Waltz. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure to have you all near us.
I will say one thing: the older you get, the quicker time goes.
Yeah, time flies by, doesn't it, Jim?
That's a fact.
And also, and when you get old, you find you're surrounded by old people.
I'll be 71 in September, so it's like, you know, I sit back and I wonder where all the time is gone, man. And I was thinking the other day how much this world has changed in the last 50 years. It's mind blowing.
Yeah, and the older you get, the faster the time goes.
Yeah. It's like you're going downhill trying to put the brakes on, slow it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Tammy Barnum says, do you ever wonder what Jesus learned through the missing years of his existence through the Bible? Did he study all religion? At the end of the day, that was his teachings. It was all we have, the power within us to become the godlike through our energy, love and understanding. I believe during the missing years, Jesus Christ visited the pyramids and he visited Stonehenge as well. Steve Morris says, haha, I'm 78, I agree. Yeah, where did Jesus go in the missing years? Like I say, pyramids, Stonehenge and other places. Hi there, Marion Clark says, hello from Ghost House Paranormal. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Marion.
Mirelle Bedard says, I would like to share two experiences that I had. Maybe you can explain it. The first is a 7 to 8 foot alien looking at me that would attack me. It eventually, time I entered my room, attack me if it time I entered my room. The second, I see a green beam light outside in my parking lot. Like a green light, I don't know what that could be. 7 to 8 foot aliens, there's quite a few actually that's all.
Well, that green light could have been like transitioning to this spacecraft or whatever. Yeah. I'm not sure what she means by attacking though.
Yeah. Tammy Barnum says, go on, Jim.
No, I'm saying you're the host this evening. Go ahead.
Okay, all right, yeah. I believe in a creator, the creator of I, and no such thing as a religion, but the understanding of one spiritual understanding and the life force that you hold. That's right. I think spiritualists are following the right path. Recognize yourself. Webb Tyrrell says, I don't know if time goes faster as we age, but a year is much smaller fraction of our life as we age than it is 5 years ago. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I don't know where all the time goes, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't got any questions at the moment. We are coming up to the top of the hour, so if you could ask anything while we're here. Jim Andre is on the hot seat.
Yeah.
And we have special guest Jim and Mike Mcfarlin. Second cousin to Elvis Presley, may I add. Wow. and he has experienced quite a lot of phenomena. They both have, really. Well, we all have phenomena.
I believe
Wow.
I believe Elvis himself had some experiences with extraterrestrial beings.
I don't know about the being, but I do know he had some UFO encounters, and he knew we wasn't alone in this universe.
Yeah.
You know, he always told everybody, Jim, that he wasn't from this world, that he came from the Orion constellation.
Oh
yeah.
And a little secret people may not know: Orion is Elvis Presley's stepbrother. Is that right, Jim?
Jimmy Ellis, he wasn't his stepbrother; he's his half brother.
Half brother. It's half
They had
brother.
the same. They had same father, different mothers. Oh, Jim, ain't the Zeta Reticulus? Don't they come from the Orion constellation?
They're from a two-star binary system.
Okay.
Zeta Reticuli. Yeah.
Christopher People says time doesn't happen to us; it's perpetuated by us as we ride our way through experience. Miral Bedard says, when I was walking to my room, the being would raise his arm to strike down, and I would raise my arm to protect the blows. The way I stopped it was when I moved up, I hung across and stated I was a child of God. It never happened again. Webb Tyrrell says Elvis didn't die, he just went home. Agent K.
Yeah, that's what he said in that damn movie, Men in Black. What's the name told him? He said Elvis didn't die, he just went home.
Tammy Barnum says, if we are all fractals of the Creator, we are all living, we are all one, but separate in the sense that we are all living. Our individual experiences, that they call our life experiences. So when we pass, we all become one energy on the other side, in my opinion. Thank you for sharing that, Tammy.
That makes sense to me. We go back to the source from where we came.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you need to add, Jim, to your interview?
I think we covered just about everything. Unless there's any more questions.
No, no more. No. Thank you for joining us, Jim Mcfarlin, as well.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Jim. Appreciate it.
No problem.
We'll have to have you on the show, Jim Mcfarlin, because we're on a new platform now, the Matrix Minds platform, and we haven't had you on the Matrix Minds yet.
Tammy Bonham is asking why you guys a show like only an hour when it's just starting to get good. One thing Bradley doesn't feel too good this evening. He's got a sore throat, right, Bradley?
Yeah, I have really bad, actually. I keep muting the mic just when I cough.
Just think, Brad, me and you're going to keep hanging around with Jim Andrew, and the Men in Black's going to knock on our door one of these days.
Yeah. I do expect that to happen. I wonder, if it's going to happen. Yeah, yeah.
Well, if that happens, just tell them to kick rocks. That's all.
Yeah.
Well.
Sarah Williams says, great show, guys. Thank you for sharing your stories, and Jim. Great show, but I have to go, says Webb Tyrrell. Good morning from the Philippines. Yeah, we're going to close the show up now, Webb, anyway. So thank you for being a part of it. Thank you, Sarah Williams. Thank you for everybody. Webb Tyrrell, And thank you for joining in, Marion Clark, Tony Walls, Speckbeck Birdie, Tammy Barnum.
Thank you for all your interactions, and we'll see you all in the next one.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Lee.